Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. Um, Quickly, I just want to tell everybody I'm back. It's been about 2 weeks. I'm sorry I was gone. I'll explain what happened, what's been going on. It hasn't been easy. That's number one. Number two, I'm not trying to make this a long introduction, trying to get back into the swing of things, but you read the title right. It seems like Letitia James, the one who was trying to accuse Trump, okay, of overinflating his real estate properties in New York, which she called fraud, was basically doing the same thing, and now she's under investigation. So, without further ado, like I said, I'll get back to explain to you guys what happened on my part. Let's get to this video, this news clipping, so you guys can see what's going on. Here we go.
Sandra, a lot to get into with this, and you've got the perfect guest. Yeah. We've got the perfect guest to talk about it with.
He's here, retired NYPD inspector and Fox News contributor Paul Morrow, who reported on this back in early February. We'll get your thoughts on this beating bride in moments. First, this is an incredible story. Oh, the irony.
Yeah, what a turnaround. So Sam Antar, as Eric mentioned, was arrested for a financial fraud himself about 40-something years ago, the infamous Crazy Eddie case that he was part of the architecture of. But that said, he subsequently, after pleading and testifying on behalf of the government, went to work for the government, helping them make white-collar cases. So he knows what he's talking about. He brings this thing to me on my Ops Desk blog, and he lays it out, and he's got documents, and it was very compelling. It's very hard to argue that, to me at least, to my eyes, the evidence that he's uncovered here really looks like there's a pattern of obfuscation, stuff that she has signed and notarized that does not seem to be accurate. And so the story's been bubbling up. And then when Laura Ingraham breaks it nationally, it gets attention. And as you mentioned, it's been referred to DOJ for a criminal referral. And that is no joke. That is the top of the prosecutorial food chain. She's going to have to answer this out.
And you were on this very early as well with your Substack. If we can pull up call for number one right here. You had the headline, Sunday report, a Tish James scandal. Is the New York Attorney General guilty of exactly what she sued Donald Trump for? You then go into the details of what she's potentially accused of now. So what's it like for you to now see that there are potential criminal charges being referred to DOJ when you had this a couple months ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's gratifying that it's getting attention, and we have to be careful. Look, she's a public figure, I get that, but she gets her chance to answer this out. There hasn't even been a complaint or an indictment, so, she might have answers. But as I said, it's really, really compelling, and I have to give credit to Sam Antar, because he just kept digging away on this. People have thrown all kinds of shade at him here. Oh, you're working for the Trump administration. All of that's completely not true. He hasn't worked for the government in a long, long time. But there were two really salient aspects of this that, if you have any kind of an investigatory mind, you have to say to yourself, there looks like there's some real smoke here. She's claimed these Virginia houses, at least one of them, as her primary residence when she's the Attorney General. In fact, some of that paperwork was filed when she was about to bring the case against Donald Trump. So that took real chutzpah. So the other thing, though, and I think this is real trouble, is that her Brooklyn residence, she has a residence in Brooklyn that she has repeatedly claimed over the course of the ownership that it's only 4 residences. Why? 5 or above is commercial, and that's going to be a higher rate. And so she's always claimed through a series of paperwork filings that it's only 4 residences, but the New York City certificate of occupancy, which is the determining factor, says that it's 5. And you got to say to yourself something.
Okay, let me cut in real quick while the getting's good on this one. So it's funny how this woman who tried to throw the book at Trump and basically said that that's what she was going to do, okay, in so many words, before she got the job as New York City Attorney General, I believe, that she is basically doing her own dirt on the side. And not only is she doing her own dirt on the side, she's actually lying in order to get favoritism, so she doesn't have to do what? Something that she's accusing Trump of, and what many Democrats have been accusing Trump of, which is trying to get away from certain type of tax brackets in order for them not to pay. So instead of her claiming all her properties, which I find suspect already, but we'll leave that, I'll digress on that. We'll leave that for now. She went and she lied and put down that she owned 4 properties instead of 5 or more, because then she falls into a different bracket, like what he was saying, which would be commercial. In other words, she owns a lot of property, so now she has to file in what I would think her taxes in a different way, will have to file with the city in a different way. And the Democrats can't have that, especially when they own property. Okay? You know, it's remarkable the way these Democrats, all these leftists, like to get fat off of everybody else's hard-earned tax money. They want to monopolize, they want to play the stock market, they want to go and make a crap ton of money. But the people that they're against, they can't do that. Any one of us that try to do that, we're not allowed to do that. But they can go and do that. And you would think that this woman would have recused herself a long time ago, but no. In my opinion, what she was doing was basically what a lot of Democrats do. They project things on other people just to throw people off the scent, off their trail. Okay? And once again, the truth is coming out, and now she's under the radar. It's incredible. You can't make this up. And I'll be one of the first ones to say, okay, because this is just breaking. Well, the news has been out, but this news clip is just coming out about 20 minutes ago today. Well, around this time. What time is it now? It is 5:17 Central. I hope she gets the book thrown at her. Plain and simple. The same way she tried to throw the book at Trump, the same way they try to seize his properties in order to sell it, and supposedly give money back to New York, like if he stole it from New York taxpayers, is the same way she needs the book thrown at her too. And the same way they wanted to stick Trump in prison, they should stick her happy ass in prison now. But let's continue.
Mel, she's been on a government salary. Where's she getting all of this property?
Yeah.
I mean, she's quite the real estate tycoon.
Seems like a significant detail in all of this. You mentioned that this was broken on the Ingram angle last night. Here's Jonathan Turley on the criminal referral against James. Listen.
This is really for James, the very case that she most famously brought. She insisted that these technicalities matter and that the powerful should not be given a free pass.
Yep.
Well, that bill has come due in this case. She's going to have to deal with this filing. I'm honestly just not sure how you defend against this unless you say that these are fraudulent documents.
So what are we talking? What does this mean for James?
So exactly what Jonathan said there, he's exactly right. It's precisely what she brought against Donald Trump, which is to say that you overinflated the value of your properties in order to get more mortgages than your building was worth. Her Virginia property, one of them, by her own disclosure, which you have to disclose as a public figure, as a public employee, she puts it around $150,000. It's mortgaged, according to the paperwork, over $500,000. Now, it's not at the level of what Donald Trump did, because in Donald Trump's case, you're talking about buildings on Fifth Avenue, et cetera. But her building is at least 4 to 5 times overinflated for the purposes of mortgages, and some of the more.
Boy, talk about the pot calling the kettle black. Okay, and no pun intended. You know, that was one of the bases why they took Trump to court, and they I don't know if they actually did or they tried, or that's still going on. They tried to seize one of his properties because they were saying that the crime was that he overinflated the value of one of his properties, or a few of them, and that he did a disservice. But basically, the banks that loaned him the money, the people that did business with him for those properties, they all got paid. Nobody complained. She came out with others making it seem like it was a crime, and yet here she is doing it herself. How do you like that? Once again, the Democrats over here projecting for something that they're doing, okay? And I'll never forget when Trump was on the debate stage years ago against Hillary Clinton, in case anybody forgets. When Hillary Clinton was trying to accuse him of all kinds of taking advantage of like tax laws and stuff like that. And Trump came out and said it point blank. I'm going by the laws that you people voted in. You don't like it? Basically change the laws. And he's right. But it's funny how they're going to try to use these laws against him to criminalize him. And this woman, who's at the heart of it all, is doing it herself. And not only is she doing it herself, you heard what the man said. She's over here, it's 4 or 5 times more that she's putting down what the property's worth than what it actually is worth. And it's true, what Trump's properties are worth a hell of a lot more. But the difference is that He did that to get money from the bank. They gave him the loans. They agreed. They all signed off on it. They were like, yes, it could be worth this much money, especially carrying his name behind it. So they knew they were going to make money no matter what. Nobody got hurt. Like if anybody is going to go, excuse me, and buy something that Letitia James owns and say, you know what, because her name's on it, we're going to pay $500,000 when it's only worth $150,000. It's incredible what these Democrats do. That's why I always keep saying that these Democrats, they contradict themselves and they eat themselves time and time and time again. It's insane. But let's continue.
Mortgages are in the public record. Some of them are not. They look like phantom mortgage. The whole thing is fugazi, and you got to look into it. They're going to have to go into the Virginia records. The feds are drop subpoenas, do search warrants, pull out all kinds of stuff. And there's one big question left. I think that a lot of us are wondering, which is who's living in the Virginia buildings?
Wow.
And are they paying rent? And are you reporting that rent? Are you paying the taxes on the rent? There's a lot here.
And it's probably out of the statute of limitations at this point. But you were saying like decades ago, she bought a property and put her dad down as her husband, essentially.
When she was about 20, so we're going back a ways, she put down that her father was her husband for the purposes of getting her first mortgage, apparently.
Look at that.
And apparently there is some financial advantage to that I'm not clear on. Excuse me, but she's never been married, according to what we can discern here. And as a result, it does look like her father went down as her spouse about 30 years ago.
A lot of smoke. We'll see if there's some fire, right?
Wow, a lot there. Thank you.
I will leave it at that. Unbelievable. You know, I tell you, the crime mentality that these Democrats have, these people on the left have, it's unmatched. It's totally unmatched. Okay, it's just like Ilhan Omar marrying her brother just so he can become a citizen and she could become a citizen, or whatever the case is. But at the same time, you know what? On that part with Ilhan Omar, I do blame the Republicans for not going after her and just basically kicking her ass and her brother's ass out of the country. That's number one. Number two, now that the Republicans are in power with the House, the Senate, the White House, the Department of Justice, they seriously should go after Letitia James, really investigate, and people need to start going to prison. There's no way around it. Okay, because this woman was ready to just basically destroy Trump's character, his life, his family's life, whatever it took. Meanwhile, she's over here sitting on a pile of dirt, making it seem like the dirt that she's sitting on is cleaner than the supposed dirt that Trump was sitting on. It's insane, people. It's insane. And I tell you what, a lot of people say that Trump could be petty, okay? This has nothing to do with being petty. Trump seriously needs to get whoever's going to be in charge of these things, he needs to really push them to go after these political criminals, because that's what they are. They're basically political criminals. They'll always point the finger, but once you point the finger at them, they're going to try to come out with something. And as it stands right now, just with these, what she's being accused of, I'm not going to buy the fact that it's all BS. She needs to step down. Something needs to happen in New York where this woman needs to be basically kicked out of office, impeached, whatever the case is. I'm not talking in 6 months. I'm not talking the next election. I'm talking like right now, before Friday, before the end of today, tomorrow, whatever the case is. She needs to step down. They need to investigate. And if all this turns out true, she and everybody else that was involved needs to be arrested and put in prison. Plain and simple. That's the way it's got to go down. But that's my starting video. I've been gone. Tomorrow makes about 2 weeks, and I'm going to let everybody know what's going on. I'm not feeling well, okay? And I'll try to make the story short. About a couple of weeks ago, I blew the head gasket cover on my truck blew. So I basically, with work being a little shoddy, I basically had to pawn my laptop, my computer system, just to get the money so I can get the parts, put it in the shop, get it fixed, do all that good stuff. That's why I haven't really been on. I've been trying to stay, in contact with people, through my iPad and stuff like that. I'm not ashamed to say it because you know what? The way things are, it's not the first time I've ever had to do something like this in order to make ends meet, and that's just the way it is. There's no shame on what I do. Okay? So fast forward, caught up with everything up this past weekend, ready to rock and roll come Monday. Okay? And right now I'm talking to you guys. I don't feel well. I'm dizzy. My back hurts. My hip hurts. The reason being, and I'll show you, was headed to work. I'll minimize this. And was at a ready to make a left at a stop at a left intersection. And about 15 seconds later, some woman doing about 80 miles an hour in a 45 just basically barreled right into the back of my truck. These are the pictures. I'm pissed off. She just basically destroyed my truck. And I'm very upset. I mean, this is how hard this woman hit me, that everything in the back of my truck came flying out. I mean, this cap was closed. I mean, she just basically blew the whole back of my truck. You can't really see from down here, but the frame down here is cracked, is snapped. And yeah, so they had to take me away in an ambulance, took me to the emergency room. Like I said, I'm not feeling well. I got to go see a therapist, if not tomorrow, Thursday, waiting for the insurance company on her part to do what they're going to do. I'm not going to mention any names. I don't think it's fair to the insurance company. Well, I shouldn't say it's not that it's fair. It's just that I don't know how they're going to go about this. But as it stands right now, they're giving me the runaround. They won't give me a rental at the moment. They want me to release the truck, and basically, from what I take it, is that they'll get me a rental once I release the truck into their care, and that's not going to happen. So I went and I got me a lawyer. He agreed to take over the case, and we're going to take it from there. So that's why I haven't been around. I was able to get my laptop back today with getting a loan for somebody to help me out. I know I'm talking kind of weird. My whole head has been spinning for the past 2 days, even though I've been taking painkillers. But I guess it was just a whole joke. Like I said, I have a very, very heavy, it's a very heavy truck. It was loaded with all my work tools in the back. I mean, you can just see this one. Like I said, this woman hit me so hard. I mean, it basically just knocked the whole bed. I'm just disgusted looking at this. But she just, I mean, everything that was in my truck, she hit it so hard, everything flew out of the truck. That's how hard this woman hit me. And to make matters worse, okay, let me just go back to the news clip. To make matters worse, that happened Monday about 12:30 in the afternoon. As I'm sitting there, basically trapped in my truck, I have one guy on my right side, trying to get my attention because I was like passing out, dizzy and all that. Wind up hitting the top of my head. I mean, it felt like my neck snapped. My back was just killing me, my lower back. I mean, and to this day, I mean, it's only been a couple of days. They said it takes a while. But when I walk, my right side hip hurts. When I was able to think a little better, I grabbed the phone and I called my insurance company to let them know, say, listen, I just got into a wreck. They were like, just stay where you're at, cut the phone off, ambulance is coming, give us a call the next day when everything's fine, no problem. As of 8:30 this morning, when I called her insurance company to find out if they're going to cover a rental, so I can get through until all this is figured out, they told me that they have yet to hear from that woman. That she never even called to tell them that she was in an accident. When I called them the next day, which would have been Tuesday morning, I got out the emergency room Monday night. They told me when I called them to report it, They didn't even know she was in an accident. She never reported it. And the reason why they told me this morning that she still hasn't reported it was because they needed her side of the story in order for them to release me getting, in order for them to sign off for me to get a rental so they could start doing their investigation, whatever the case is. So that's where I'm at right now. That's why I haven't been on, because of what I had to get the truck fixed, and Monday was a real kick. Was a real kick to me, because I work very hard. I work very, very hard for what little I got. Now, like I said, I have no shame to go out there and hustle. Like I said, I went and I had to work on my truck to keep going to work, and I didn't have all that cash on me, so I just went and I pawned my computer equipment. That's why I haven't been on. But it really, really hurts that I had to sacrifice all that, and then somebody, because they wanted to do, and I'm assuming she was doing about 80, because on the road that I was at where I got hit, about 100 yards before, not even 100 yards, I guess, they just put up a new traffic lights, brand new, because they built a brand new gas station. So for me to slow down after I passed that green light to get into the left-hand turn, the left lane to make a left-hand turn, you have your middle lane and your right lane. I was there a good 10, 15, 20 seconds just waiting with my foot on the brake, and it was like I felt like my whole truck exploded. That's how hard she hit me being in the cabin of my truck. Everything, it was so confusing that here I am in my truck looking at the oncoming traffic in the left lane passing me, waiting for there to be a gap or the traffic to ease up where I can cut into to cross over. And I got hit so hard, I thought that somebody came from the front of me and hit me head on. But at the same time, as I'm holding onto the steering wheel, I got my foot on the brake because I was waiting anyway. I guess my whole body tensed up because my calf is killing me. And I think it was because once I got hit, my whole body tensed up, and something was telling me, don't get your foot off the brake. And I'm trying to hold on, but I'm trying to catch my bearings. Within all that, at the same time, I'm telling myself, no, you didn't get hit from the front. No car came from you, came towards you. Which, again, in the back of my brain is telling me somebody just basically rammed the shit out of the back of your truck. I didn't see the lady, couldn't get out the vehicle, and I just went today to the tow yard to take pictures, do damages. I have to try to get back there with another vehicle, get all my stuff out of it, my tools and everything like that. My shoulder's killing me like crazy. I guess it's from me having my arm on the steering wheel. I guess everything jammed up, and I'm not happy. I'm not gonna lie. I was very upset at the yard, looking at my truck, and it really hurt me because I've had that truck for so long. I've worked so hard to keep that truck in tip-top shape. So many different people that have worked on my truck, for little odds and ends, have always told me that's a strong truck, great engine, great transmission, over 320,000 miles on it. I mean, purrs like a kitten. And just to have somebody who, for whatever reason, and I was told by the state trooper in the emergency room that she should not have been driving. I brought that up to the attorney to see what they can figure out about what he meant by that. It's anybody's guess. To have a person doing whatever it was, 70, 80 miles an hour on a 45 is just, it's I just can't swallow that. I just can't. But we'll see. Supposedly she walked away. Her airbag went off and she walked away. Me, I ended up in the emergency room and my truck is in shambles. So I haven't been able to go to work. Don't know when I'll be back to work. And we'll just see. We'll see what happens. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. I wasn't trying to forget about anybody. I'll get to all the messages, email messages, all the comments. Looks like I lost a few subscribers by my estimates. I mean, it is what it is. I lost about 10, I guess. One more thing, I do want to give a shout out before we wrap this up. I'm gonna go back to my channel. Let me go back here real quick so you guys can see I'm doing this in real time. And the shout out I want to give, let me see if I still have it here, is to Sweet as Sugar. She last 2 weeks ago, right before I left, she sent me a $10 super chat. I want to thank her for that. Thank you so much. And she said, thanks for keeping us informed. And what she say? Thanks for keeping us informed and keeping it 100. And then she said, my pleasure. Congratulations on your achievements. I just want to thank you so much. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Everybody else that didn't know, like I said, I didn't really say much, but I'll get to everybody's message and stuff like that. And all the emails. It's a lot. So I just need a little bit of time to catch up. So with all that being said, hope you like the content. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. If you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. I never ask anybody to pray for me. I'm always asking everybody to pray for others, which is true. So don't forget, to stay vigilant. Keep praying for each other. Keep praying for the women and the children. Pray for your country. Pray for this country. Pray for your enemies. Pray for Donald Trump. And I'm asking, pray for me that everything goes good, smoothly. From what I'm being told, things like this take a while, and it's my first time. I've never, ever, all my years of driving, have ever been in an accident, especially something like this. So I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, people, that's what's going on, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.